Hi, Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is day 27 of the September daily draws. So as we start the weekend, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Mystic Palette Tarot, Muted Edition, followed by an Oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Here we go. This is the Seven of Cups. This is the choices. This is the what we want to connect with on a deep level, on a spiritual, emotional level. What do we want to relate to? What do we want to put our passion and our emotions into? And it's what we imagine as well. What we imagine for our lives. What we wish for. Different things that we may aspire to. That we may desire to bring into our lives, different things that we want to become or we want to see in our lives. And you've got the different types of vessels here, of cups, of chalices, whatever you want to call them, goblets here, with all the different aspects in here represented by, representing different things. And there is symbolism in that, of course. But I'm not going to go into that just for this daily draw, because I don't think that's the overriding message about the individual contents. Although it doesn't seem to be the traditional contents that we normally get. Although, I don't know, maybe so. Maybe just represented differently. That's right. So, yes, they each have a different thing inside. And yes, the traditional card, the symbolism is there, and they do signify certain things. So if you want to look into symbolism, you can do. But I think for just a daily draw kind of general reading purpose for the collective, we don't need to look into that, because and none of this actually stands out. But the meaning behind the Seven of Cups is usually you see in a cloud, or in the sky, sort of like imagine, but they're not. They're sort of like imaginary. This is something that we can imagine. This is things we desire, and we're thinking, daydreaming about what we would like to connect with. And okay, it's good to aspire to things. It's good to have a dream. It's good to have a desire to bring things into your life. There's nothing wrong with that, with that scenario. There's nothing wrong with that inclination. It's good and healthy to have things to aspire to and to have, but we have to be careful that we don't get too caught up in our imagination and our unfulfilled desires of things that we dream of becoming a reality for us, and having to choose which ones we want, and it is an element of choice of what we connect with. And also, we may not fully, may think we desire these things, but do we already understand their nature? And that's where sometimes the symbolism may actually come in. And what may seem on the surface to be really attractive and really, something we would desire, when we look more into detail, it may have elements to it that we didn't anticipate. And if we were to have it, we perhaps may not be so keen on it as we were before we had it. And sometimes, it's like, be careful what you wish for, you may just get it. And it's being careful about your desire, what you put your aspirations to. That's what I believe that this is. And some of these things may look good and look alluring, but that's illusionary. Then not everything is as it seems. Not all that glitters is is gold. It's that kind of thing. We have to be discerning about where we connect to and put our attention onto. In some depictions of the Seven of Cups, I don't see it here. We just have the cups with the different objects within. But I know in some decks there's where we see these imaginary things, but there's actually a cup there beside them that's not imaginary, that's there. And another thing whenever I pull the Seven of Cups is that it's okay to have dreams and to desire new things, and as I said, to have these things. But don't let that distract you from what you have at the moment. Like the cup that you possess now. Don't be pulled away from that. Put your main focus and attention into the here and now, what you have in front of you. And that depiction I do like for the Seven of Cups. Dream, imagine by all means, but make sure that you look at what's in front of you in the here and now. And who knows, you see, because what by connecting with what's in front of you now may be a stepping stone to some of these other things that you have in your mind. So it's okay to have these dreams and aspirations, but don't let it become an illusory distraction from what you need to focus on now, on what you need to commit yourself to in the here and now, in this moment. Sometimes we get a little, we want something different. We want to escape, a bit of escapism from our present moment, and we think of what we might have in the future, and we get that, we focus on that instead. But the thing that we should be focusing on is still there. It's not going away and needs our attention. And that's what this is, a slight sort of advisory, sort of guiding sort of caution, warning about that, is connect with what you have now, dream and imagine new things by all means, and who knows where your current connection will lead to further down the line, maybe to some of these things that you desire. So it's getting it in that correct perspective. Okay, let's quickly look at the Oracle card. Cranberries. I don't think I'm allowed to count cranberries because of some medication I'm on. I think I can remember right, but I have had cranberries in the past. I've had cranberry juice. I think it's particularly cranberry juice I can't drink, which is a shame because I like it. Devour the truth and let it sink into the depths of all that came before and all that will come after. So sometimes we need to be confronted with the truth, and we need to devour the truth. Let's get the truth of the situation. Let's cut out the fantasy, the imagination. Look at what the reality of our now is and deal with that. Let it sink into the depths of that, of all that came before. So the truth about what's come before us in our lives and all that will come after, about these future things. Let it come from a perspective of truth and authenticity in the here and now. That will bridge the gap between where we've been, where we are now and where we want to be. And that's what we must do. We must look at it through the eyes of truth and authenticity whenever we're dealing with a situation like this. Okay, so that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 28. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.